This episode is brought to you by Club Pilates of Westfield. Check out their free outdoor mat class on June 29th at 10 a.m. at the Presbyterian Church of Westfield. No need to register. You can just show up, and if you have your own mat, feel free to bring one. If you don't, they'll provide one for you. If you want to learn more about Club Pilates, their class schedule, and even get your first class for free, check out clubpilates.com.
It's your shop. Get cozy.
I hate wearing shoes. It's yeah, I'm like a very, very anti-shoe kind of person. I don't know about you, but I'll be barefoot.
No.
Grounding with the earth.
Not into it.
No?
No, I'm one of those people who, when I walk on like the driveway, it's like lava. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am so impressed by people who can walk on stones. Like, you're not down at the beach.
We gotta toughen you up, dude.
No, you're at the beach and people like will walk on like the stones in the driveways or whatnot, and they just walk normal. Every step to me is like
That means you wear too many shoes.
I just wear shoes.
No, too many shoes. Too many shoes. No, you got to get in the ground a little bit. Come on, we're literally barefoot all of existence until like
we learned
50 years ago.
We learned how to make shoes.
I love it. I love being barefoot. Anyway, guys, welcome back to another episode of That Westfield Podcast with Drew Tybus. Today, again, we're talking about marketing and PR, specifically more PR stuff today. We want to do a 3-part series that really helped educate small business owners on how to get the word out there, how to craft your message, and how to just kick ass in business. So we're back. What's up, Drew? What's up?
Hi, man. How are you?
I'm great. It's not hot as shit today.
Yes, it is. It's really hot. And I'm hoping that we'll sweat through our shirts right now.
Yeah, that's why I wore a dark shirt. I was like, uh-oh. But
Flag Day. Happy Flag Day.
It is Flag Day.
It's also National Bourbon Day today.
Is it?
Happy National Bourbon Day. I
haven't had bourbon in a couple of years, but you have a lot of bourbon experience, though, right?
A lot of bourbon experience. I worked on some great bourbon brands. I work on a great bourbon brand now. Actually, it's called Potter Jane, and it's doesn't exist yet in the world. It's being the distillery itself is being built. But it's going to be amazing when it opens up.
Very nice.
Yeah, very, very cool.
So National Bourbon Day, Flag Day. I remember this day as always like the last day of school when I was little. So we went to Catholic school, so we got out early. And it was like the day, and then that's it. Savagery for 2 months. But
yeah. It is amazing. That feeling, the last day of school feeling, the only time you get that back is when you're leaving a job to start a new job, right?
That's so true. I was literally trying to think like
if
what
you
the
have a
was.
Job lined up, the last day of your old job,
sweet release,
is that last day of school feeling where you say goodbye to your friends. You're probably not going to see them again.
Right.
And you're like, maybe have a day or two or a week, depending on how you plan things out.
Right.
There's nothing better.
No, and you know what's funny? I always think about that as an adult. I'm like, yeah, I remember that feeling like after you finish finals and you're just like, oh, you're so relieved. Like, you don't have that as a business owner ever. It's probably one of the hardest things about being a business owner. And I kind of try to find ways to like feel that feeling because otherwise you're just like up here all the time.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
It's freedom.
Maybe we should start an entrepreneur like day where it's like it's like kind of like cut day for seniors where it's like no matter what you do, you just don't work that day. We'll work on that maybe. I'm gonna call the White House and
there's no chance. Yeah. There's not a single person who has their own business who's not going to be like, let's go check.
Oh, yeah.
Check one thing quick.
I swear it's one thing.
Just one thing.
Everyone put your phones in a bucket.
Right.
Anybody who...
No smartwatches. Right.
Anybody who... The first person to touch it has to buy everybody a dinner.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I like that. Anyway, so PR. Let's talk about what somebody does when they are ready to either launch or relaunch something or announce something and tell people what the difference is, I think, between like marketing and PR
I was about to say, I want to go over first, like what is public relations, right? And people just say PR, and I think some people have a general sense of the idea of it. And a lot of folks probably have a misunderstanding of what public relations is. Public relations is the practice of relating your business, your service, whatever it is, to your public. And the public is both the community in which your business is in, the audiences of which your businesses serve, and you relate to them in a public relations way through trusted third parties, right? The difference between PR and between advertising or other channels is that advertising is the repetition of a message or an image, whatever it is, over and over again, consistently in places that brand service knows where you're looking until you remember it. Right. PR is something that comes across to you as real information presented to you by a third party as news.
Right.
And the benefit to that is we all as people, we consume that information differently. Every one of us opens up a magazine, watches TV, is on their phone or the web, the computer, whatever it is, and you see ads. Right. And you know what an ad is as soon as you see it, right?
And we're like, ugh.
Right.
Scroll.
Well, and even the thing we were talking before about how when you Google something, right? Almost everybody, even if you type in like Dunkin' Donuts, right? Or just Dunkin' now, which is still silly, but whatever. Everybody seems to know to not click on the first link on Google because it's an ad. You scroll down one, right? Because we know what ads are. PR positions things differently. And the benefit of public relations work is that it shows you, what are the best, 10 best, whatever. When those articles pop up, it is rare, and this is not a knock on journalists, but it is rare that a journalist is sitting around thinking to themselves like, I wonder what the 10 best whatever is, right? What happens is that a PR person, a PR firm like ours, we will reach out to these journalists and say, hey, you should do a story about, you ever consider looking into, hey, you know what's really trendy right now is this. And then we give them all the information they might need to tell the story. That's one piece of PR. The other side of it is community relations, right? There's this old story about John D. Rockefeller, and that his PR guy, who I want to say was Ivy Ledbetter Lee, if I remember correctly, he had told Rockefeller, like, you have a really poor image. People hate you. He's the richest man in the world, and I don't think he was a super nice guy. And so there's two things that he did to change the perception of Rockefeller. One was, and this is story, I don't know if it's true or not, but one was that he told him, you're going to leave the house every morning with a roll of dimes. And that you cannot come back to the house without giving that roll of dimes away. Like 1, 2 kids you see all along the wall. Because a kid gets a dime from the richest man in the world, they will never stop talking about it. That kid is now an advocate for the brand of Rockefeller. He does, right? The other thing this guy did was he said, "How we're going to bring media to your compound at home," and he convinced Rockefeller to let media journalists come see him around him and his grandkids. The idea was simply like, show people that you're a person, and
you're a human.
The idea there being was like, we're going to leverage the news to not talk about like your business practice or anything like this. We're going to try and shift perception of you by showing a different side of you. So when it comes to businesses using public relations and why you would use it, well, advertising is terrific. Advertising is guaranteed, which is one of the things that as a PR person we envy about advertising is that they get to pay money. So you pay an advertising company, they make up the artwork, whatever it is, and then either they or the media buying agency will then go and pay the magazine, website, TV station, whatever it is, to run your ad. It's guaranteed. You pay for it, you pay them, and you pay these other people, and then this is what you have locked in. PR, because we're convincing people to do things for free. I have to convince, my team has to convince a TV show producer, a journalist, a reporter, whatever it is, blogger, to cover the story we want. It's not, the timing isn't guaranteed, right? We can urge them on certain days. But so with that, advertising has its place. It is great for reaching a broad audience with the exact message, the exact imagery, all that stuff you want to use. It tends to be a bit more expensive on a larger scale, certainly. On a small scale, it's nominal, but on a larger scale, it's somewhat expensive. And we all know what an ad is. PR on the other side, you get it as news, and you hear it and say, "Oh, okay. Well, they're saying that the best time to go to wherever is okay. Well, they must know because they're the news, right? And whatever." So leveraging PR, the benefit there is that the audiences you want to reach are going to hear about your product, your brand, your services, your people, your points of difference in a way that is more genuine. It feels like it's not just someone selling them on something, but it's that they've been informed about this business. So how does it work?
How does it work, Drew?
It's magic. That's how it works. And here's the thing: is that it's now is one of the more interesting times in the world for public relations because of social media, because you have influencers. And the reason I'm taking a big side there is that there is a real interesting thing happening with social media influencers. To some degree, a social media influencer is every bit a news outlet, right? They are providing updates. Every town has one, every area, state has one of like, Union County Eats or whatever it is, right? And it's someone's going around showing the best restaurants or showing whatever. They're paid. They're paid, and that doesn't always come across in the content.
Authentic, yeah.
That like they're not necessarily letting everyone know like that they were paid to go and do this, and why that's important. Now, mind you, the argument is, well, but reporters get paid, right? But they don't get paid by the person doing that they're writing about.
Right.
They get paid by the organization. The issue there being is that it does blur some lines to a degree. How much of an authentic, an honest review of something is someone going to get if they've been paid by the company that's asking them to do the review? Right. So there's that. When it comes to traditional PR, it's really about working with local websites, local newspapers, TV stations, and there's some key moments in time that are great to start with this, right? Last time we were together, we talked about having a sense of who your brand is. What is your story? What is my tone of voice? Who is my audience, right? If I know all these things, okay, now my business is up and running, we've started. Well, what do we want? How do we want to get people to come in?
Right.
Well, getting people to come in, let's first let them know we're open. Start with that, right? And with that, I think people miss opportunities sometimes to take people on the journey, right? Social media is phenomenal for this because you can document your journey in photos and get engagement of like, hey guys, here's the keys. We just got the lease for our property, or we're taking over this old warehouse. We're going to turn it into whatever, or breaking ground. Cool. Let's show people the process. When you then are set to open, you can put together a statement of our business is opening next week, and doors will open at what time, or have fanfare of some kind or whatever, or on the day of the opening, you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? What does that look like? Well, it looks like writing a press release. Not everybody wants to do this. So
they probably don't even know how to.
They probably don't know how to do it. I would say it's a great opportunity to Google something. Look it up. There's lots of opportunities. And what I would say is, like, don't go to like bigger companies and see how they do it first. Only because they have a bit more rigor in terms of how things are worded and whatnot. They're supposed to, at least. So whether it's Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Ford, Exxon, whatever it may be, see if they have press releases, Pfizer, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
If you're a restaurant, go see what Cheesecake Factory's done, just as a model, just to see like how does it work.
Right.
And then you can start writing it. Right now, there are lots of people who are going to say, "Can I use AI?" Certainly can. You're gonna have to proofread it though, and like make sure that you do. But so you put together this document, you get this ready to go, right? You have a headline of XYZ business is opening, maybe a subheading of first in the county, first in the state, and the first in the town, blah blah, blah whatever it is, or whatever, and then basic information of what makes us different, when is this happening, why should I care, and have a call to action.
Right. Yep.
A call to action is the thing of sign up here, visit us here, call here, go to this website. A call to action makes people feel there's an urgency to it, and it gives direction. Right. Because none of us want to just.
We don't know what to do after we.
Right. Just like, oh, good.
Like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe to go to their website if you want to learn more information, or maybe look at their Instagram.
Right. And it sounds silly, but like, give people those directions. It does encourage some kind of action. Have a call to action. You've got this document written. Drew, what do we do now? Well, now if you have a PR firm, they will do all this and they'll send it out to the world. You have a couple different options once you have this document prepared. There are wire services, which I still love that we call them that, only because it's like the closest thing that we have to old-timey stuff.
Right.
Like that it used to be a press release and would go out over the wire.
Right.
The telegram wire.
The telegram.
Yeah. The reality though is that this gets sent out via email now, but we still call it wire releases. There's lots of different services. You can find some online. They'll do it
We're
for
actually going to
free.
be offering it too.
There you go.
Have some people come on the podcast going forward. I think in the next 2 weeks, people come on. We will actually do a press release for their episodes.
That's
so
awesome.
It's going to be cool, right?
I love this idea.
Well, you inspired
helping.
me, Drew, to grow my business in a way and to also help people get the word out there. Especially like some of our businesses do some really big shit around here.
Yes.
Or they had a celebrity come in or something like that. So,
Well, so I want to get to that in a moment, because I think, like we just said, is really interesting. So once you have this release out, you're going to want to then use either a wire service to push it out broadly, and they'll usually give you options of, is it state specific, is it country specific, whatever, industries if you can. They're usually like between, you'll find some that you can probably get for free.
Right.
Most of the ones that are more widely used are between like $700 and $1,000 per release. That's without pictures of what in it, and it just goes to lots of different newsrooms for a chance to pick it up. The other thing then is to have a list of what are the media that would most likely attract the audiences that you're trying to go after. If you're trying to go after just local folks, you probably don't need the New York Times, right? Not right away. What you probably need is Patch and to tap into, and the local newspapers, New Jersey 12, even the New York affiliates that cover our area here. Just find a contact, reach out, and you can use social media, send them a direct message, find a reporter, whatever. You got to do some homework. It's what PR people do. We gently stalk people and harass them until we get through to them.
I love it.
But once that's out, you've got press releases out into the news, into the world, do two things. One, they encourage media to come and tell your story. Two, they demark a moment in time. They create a milestone that's trackable, so that you want to see when was the birthday of our launch day. What day did we announce we were doing a new flavor? When did we start this contest? When did we show that we're hiring a new CEO? Whatever, right? Just having the date stamp on it online sometimes is of value. It doesn't necessarily always mean the world's going to care and tell the story, but at least that the moment's marked. You said a moment ago, though, about local businesses having really cool stuff. What a PR person's job is to think like a journalist, and then to work as part of the business's team. And what that looks like is we mine for stories. So most businesses, and I think we talked about this last time maybe, most businesses are unaware of what is of interest in what they do. They know the big things. Oh, we had a celebrity come by. They know that means something. What they don't know is that anybody would care that you hand carve every thing of butter that whatever. I'm making awful examples, but the little things that we do that feel to us as business owners like it's just what we do. It's every day. Are oftentimes the gee whiz, isn't that cool? Isn't that a different thing that people latch onto? And so those types of things tend to be interesting for stories. So, what does that mean? If you have a restaurant and there's some interesting thing that you do, right? Where you're like, I can't believe we do this all the time. We race to see how fast we can butcher a chicken, or whatever.
Maybe
we hand make our pasta.
Our heart-shaped pizzas, right?
Anything, but like whatever it is that we do, that to us is just like, we do it.
Valentine's Day.
But showing people, and visuals are always great, showing people what that is, that's a great opportunity to ask a journalist or a TV producer or whatnot, hey, would you like to see what is it like to make 4,000 pizzas when they do the pizza run here in Westfield? right?
Yeah, that's great.
Come and see what goes on behind the scenes. The behind the scenes, the how stuff is made stuff is great. People love seeing it. They like seeing that sometimes also in the production of things, like in the before your business opens. Now, does that fit for everything? No, they don't want to see you stock the shelves of an auto supply store because and I'm not knocking auto supply, but it's okay.
It's not exciting.
There's nothing to it. You stock the shelf. We got it. But if you are making something, I think that's interesting. When you have
something that everyone can do.
That everyone could do, but I can. That's how you guys do that. There's this great Japanese restaurant in New York City that's famous for yakitori style cooking, and they've gotten a ton of coverage of watching the chefs there precisely take apart each of the chickens that they get, because they use almost every single piece of it. But to do that, they have to be meticulous in it, and watching them do it is amazing. With with the other stuff though, so a celebrity comes to your business. You're having a charity event. You're doing a limited time offer flavor, right? We're doing pumpkin flavors for October, peach flavors right now, right? Those are good things to announce. And again, there's that call to action, limited time, only right now. The celebrity thing, celebrities are this wonderful, weird thing that people are interested in, right? And they care about. It's worth reaching out to somebody and saying, so-and-so was at our shop recently. I would say, if you were comfortable with it as a business owner, it's always worth asking the person who came in, hey, would you be cool with us mentioning you in, or you're okay with it? Or if they take a photo, it's also cool too. Just because if you want them to come back, it's good to be honest and upfront about your intention of like, hey, do you mind if we let people know? Used to it. They're very, very used to it. But like, it's an honest thing to say. Though, It's an honest thing to say, like, that you carry some interest. Do you mind if we borrow some of that? Can I borrow some of your equity and use it for our stuff? And most people are pretty cool about it, unless they truly like don't want people to know. Like, I don't want people to know that I use this waxer or whatever it is, right? Or if they just want, like, no, this is my safe space. I don't want you coming here because, like, maybe it's a place where they bring their kids and they don't want people knowing. Whatever. Those are announcements that are good to make. I think we are in a place.
No, what popped into my head, we watched the P. Diddy thing this weekend, and I thought about PR and, like, what a nightmare. And, like, what do people do on the other side? Because it's not always rainbow. It's like, what if a business owner fucks up? Like, what if somebody does something, maybe it's not their fault, or somebody sues them, and anything can happen with the business. So what about the flip side of it?
Sure. Yeah. So it's funny because I was taught this very early on, and it was very true. So PR works in the court of public opinion, and then lawyers work in the court of law, right? And those two tend to work together frequently. Oftentimes, the PR team will have an idea, and we have to run it by the legal team. The legal team will say, well, you have to say may or could. You can't say will, right? Fine. Then there's situations where the legal team will say, yo, can you please do something to get people to rethink about this business or whatever, because it will help us with whatever. More often than not, in like situations like that guy is in right now, the legal team will flat out say, shut up. Less is more. Because there's nothing you're going to say right now that's going to help. And at this point in time, they're like in a real bad situation.
Yeah, there's no getting out of that one, right?
No, you got to let he's going to go through whatever that has to be. But so for your business, when you're in that situation, the best defense is a good offense. And by that, what we mean is, I use this phrase, I will claim it as my own. It's mine. PR is, by and large, which you hope it is deposits into the bank of goodwill. You want to be making deposits into the bank of goodwill so that when things go wrong, you can take a withdrawal from that.
Dig that.
Right? The idea there being is showing community service, right? Do those things from day one. Make it a part of your business. We have senior discounts. We do an education program. We have an internship program. We do Adopt a Highway. We are part of all the fundraisers. Do all of those little things. Yes, some of them are advertising. A lot of those things are PR too. There's not news value to it, but it's relating to your publics, right? Those things are all deposits into the bank of goodwill. So that when something goes wrong, all of that goodwill comes back to your defense and makes a shield around your business. So everybody says, you know what?
They're good people.
They're good people, right? Because sometimes terrible things can happen where it can be something catastrophic and truly bad. There's also be things where it's like, maybe there's a stain on the there's reviews, right? Well, no, because there can be stains on the business of like,
maybe I had a bad employee. Did
you have a bad employee? Hey, listen, everybody has had a situation where like somehow some food business ends up, with something that didn't go right.
I got a 2-star review once because I wasn't open on Sunday.
Well, that's
it's like, what do you do? You're like, it's not bad stain because you read it and you're like, that's ridiculous. But there's all sorts of versions of that for small businesses.
There could be the thing of like you put. There's the hot coffee thing, right? The hot coffee goes in the cup. That
story's crazy, right?
The coffee gets on somebody and burns them, and like do you know, are you the place that like, oh, you got to be careful going there? No, like the goodwill supports you, right? And there's places where like people get sick. Maybe there was a problem with the food one day, or bad oysters, whatever. Everybody got sick. That can destroy a business if it's got no reputation.
Right.
But if the reputation is like, yeah, that's weird.
And that happens twice and three, then that's your reputation.
Right.
That's what you're known for.
Somebody gets hurt, whatever. When it's something catastrophic like what this guy is dealing with, that's really more of like the lawyers are going to have to deal with that one.
Right,
because there's nothing you're going to be able to do, because the reality is that the law is still going to have to do its thing.
Yeah.
So even if you could have him adopt every puppy in the world and set up college tuition for every kid in Mississippi.
Yeah.
He's still going to have to go to trial for some terrible stuff, and that's going to have to happen first. So you basically start making your plan for what are we going to do for after.
Yeah, very cool.
But I think to your point, the crisis comms piece of things is good when you're starting out. That's that early process of like, what are our watch-outs? Mm-hmm. What are the things that we may have to deal with? Is it our product isn't recyclable? Mm-hmm. Is it that there's no parking near here and people have to walk? We're on the second floor and the elevator is whatever, right? Have thoughts of all what are your weaknesses that you're going to have to defend against, and then start proactively putting things out into the world that show how you're addressing those things.
Right. Cool. So what I want to leave everyone with to think about is like, what can you do in your business, right? What are things maybe you have coming up over the next few months that you go, hey, maybe I could do a press release, or I need to start putting plans, plan in action for the rest of the year. So that is our challenge to you guys. Start thinking about it. If you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to us. Drew does some really great work with food and beverage and cannabis brands and maybe some other brands, I'm sure.
Too,
so yeah. But if you're a slightly bigger business, go see him if you're ready to invest in it. Yep. I guarantee it's worth it. If you're looking for just some small local stuff, obviously that's what That Westfield Podcast is here for. So Drew, thank you so much. This was awesome. Very, very informative. Sometimes these things are all around us. We don't even realize it. It's just in our everyday life. And, Dunkin' Donuts, right? Like limited time offers. Like these are releases. These are things. It's not just advertising.
It's not just advertising.
Guys, we challenge you to,
put these out in the world.
Yeah. Step up your business game and get on that.
Yep.
So, all right.
Tag media in your Instagram posts.
Yes, do that too.
Tag media. Doesn't matter if you don't know who they are. Tag them anyway. They'll see it. Tag them.
All right, Drew. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Ciao.